Hi, Caroline Kearney here at Powell Arts, and I'm standing with the very talented Cynthia Pareja Dubin in front of her piece, which will be in the Marvelous and Unusual show from now through July 16th. Cynthia, do you mind introducing us to your piece?
Yes, absolutely. Hello. So this is my piece. Its name is Navegando, which means navigating in English. I developed this piece recently after coming back from a trip to Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
I was absolutely inspired by the green of the moss. Or when you drive through the highways, there's a bunch of moss that is actually protected by the country, so they say not to touch it because it's so delicate. So the actual green, I was mesmerized by it. It's like colors speak to me daily. You know, it could be the smallest little thing, or the smallest flower, or the bee, or birds. So I get very inspired by colors. So when I came back home, I wanted to develop a piece that captured those emotions that colors brought to me. So I also had a small class from my friend who is an artist in Iceland. So she told me that I need to explore a little bit more within myself because my work was a bit too structured.
Yeah.
I love developing abstract structures. However, I was not like giving as much as I.
You're a little in your head with composition, as opposed to like it's always kind of a balance between intuition and composition and structure. And she told you to lean a little bit more towards your intuitive sense.
Yeah, I love that. She helped me. I love to just don't care about it. If you do something wrong, just do it again. You know, it's like it's the whole process. So then she introduced me to gold foil. Then she gave me a few sheets, which I've never worked with them before. So I started, practicing a little bit with gold foil. And actually, I didn't like the fact of just placing the gold foil, perfectly on the surface. So I started like practicing with corrugating the actual piece and like using like the actual like pencil, the
like
brush.
The stylus and brush,
and corrugating it and like wrinkling it, because also like that being surrounded by so much beautiful like mountains and like nature, like it's not perfect, when you see it.
One that has a lot of texture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like convey that like imperfection, but at the same time a little bit of myself. So that's why I added the neon pink, which is one of my favorite colors, because when I look at it, it brings me a lot of joy. It's a personal.
Well, and it's also energizing.
It's energizing, yes. So also I added most of the strokes that you see here I made with palette knives. I work a lot with palette knives.
Which is very visceral.
Yes, yeah. I just love to, I blend my acrylics with their mediums. I mostly use acrylic with gloss.
Okay.
Sometimes I use a matte medium, which gives like a matte effect. But this time I used gloss, so I just mixed it, and then I just started spreading yellow and more neon green on top of the more like dark green.
Which is nice because you have the accents of the gold foil, so you have a shimmer here and then a nice a gloss that like provides kind of a nice like body to the piece, I think.
Yes, definitely. And once the structure looked the way I wanted it, I just set it like for a few days just to see if I want to add something else. Just leave it. I let it be, and then
my mom says, Carol, who my mom says that sometimes you have to just leave it sitting and think on it.
Yes.
Work on something else and then come back to it.
I think, I completely share that with your mom as well. So when I came back, there was something missing. So what I did is like started, and I love building collages. Another way of through my work, I like to create collages that are made with like my own creations from previous pieces.
I read that in your artist, yeah.
Which convey a little bit of sustainability.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And also it's taking elements that are very you and then reinventing yourself as it allows for you to grow.
Exactly.
Like we have another artist who does water medium, and she a lot of times will, not small like this, but like she will chop different pieces, tear different pieces of her thing, and then almost grid them together. And you can't tell at first because it's all the same. The paper is all the same paper.
Right.
And so then when you look in it, it's like a little surprise. Like you're like, oh, look what I just discovered. But I often feel that way when artists collage in their own work, because it becomes a touchstone for the piece to build around.
Exactly. So as an artist, I love to draw. I love to create my own pieces, and as well, like as you can see here, this may seem to be like a drawing of a paper on a paper I did, but actually it's a digital collage that I did from a drawing. It's quite interesting. So I did a small painting, and what I did is I scanned it and I passed it through Photoshop, and I like copied the same drawing, which looks like a weird eye. So then eventually it was printed into this gloss paper, and I just had it just random shapes because I love to have like different things around me that help me like.
Artists are naturally collectors. I
Yes.
think. We say collectors because hoarders don't use the stuff they collect, but you do. So collectors.
It helps me for my work too, to have different ideas of like different things so that I create myself. So I had these sheets laying and I'm like, I start shaping them and I cut it and I put it in. I'm like, I think it looks good there. So I put it on top.
You know what's funny is it's funny that you said that you were looking at moss and it was inspired by moss because to me, this looks almost shell-like, this whole area here. But what also looked like, this looks somewhat like lichen.
Yes.
Things like that, which I, when she said that, I was like, it makes so much sense because this looks like lichen to me.
Oh my God, now you said lichen. Last year when I came back from Iceland, I did a small series of smaller works that were called Bed of Lichen.
Oh, that's so
funny.
Bed of Lichen. See, I read your mind.
You did. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I mean, like I love that my structures are somehow like strange organisms or shapes that kind of resemble nature, but they aren't. It's like otherworldly.
One of the things I find really neat about this piece is the way that you've constructed it, and it's harder to tell from the image than it is when you're engaging with the piece, is that this becomes a way of entering and traveling through, which that this is called Navegando. It means navigating. It does feel like a journey. And so it becomes like I'm passing through this and going through the moss, which I think is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, so also to conclude, what I did is writing the word navegando a través de mí, which is navigating through me, like through within me.
I like that.
And it's one of the things that I like to do. Sometimes I like to write words into my compositions, but sometimes they ask me, what does that mean? What does the word mean? Does the word mean something that, like, you know, with the painting or the collage that you're developing? I'm like, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes when I develop, you know, the structure of the font of the letters, they end up not meaning what, you know, like they lose like their meaning. They become shapes. The words become shapes. Yeah,
they integrate into it. It's like putting an energy or a color or something, some element in that once you layer in other things becomes not central, but rather informs the piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for your understanding everything I'm trying to
I say that I'm not an artist, which most of you know. I am a creative, but I say I'm an artist to world translator. Like instead of like the French English dictionary, I'm like, I get artists and then I say what I think they're thinking. And sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. But this piece is beautiful. I'm so glad it's going to be in our show.
Yeah.
And we hope people come see it. It will be here in our Marvelous and Unusual show from now through July 16th.